really, really natural looking. And if I get up close to like a really magnifying mirror, it doesn't look like there's any makeup on my face because it's a very, very thin product. And I love that. That is the vibe. Hi you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we're doing a little like makeup tutorial situation. We are doing my no foundation makeup routine, and it's something that I have been doing actually a lot lately because my skin has been suffering. We are in suffering, dry canyon. Like I need, my skin needed a little bit of a break because it's just been so dry where I am that I need to just let my skin breathe a little bit. So I've been doing this a ton. This is something I do like nonstop in summer. It's like my favorite way to do my makeup when it's really, really hot out, but also when my skin needs a break. And this is kind of what I do for my routine. So I'm really excited to get into this video and show you how I do my no foundation makeup routine. I would love to know, what are your kind of steps for your no foundation makeup routine? Do you use products that you wouldn't normally use? Let me know down below. And yeah, I just want to jump into this video and get started. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into my no foundation makeup routine. All right, you guys, we are in closer. Let's get into this no foundation makeup routine. So my face is currently hydrated and all of that. Depending on where my skin is at, I might do this step or I won't. I'm going to do it in this video just so you can see kind of what I do. I will go on with something like this, the Glow Recipe watermelon niacinamide dew drops, and it really just gives my skin an extra plump of hydration, but it also makes my skin and complexion in general look really, really healthy. So just apply a little bit all over the face. Okay, it's on. I let it sink into the skin for a second. Again, it's not a step I always go for. It kind of depends on where my skin's at. Next, I go on with a sunscreen that has a little bit of shimmer to it. I have used the K-Skin one a ton and mentioned it a ton. So I'm going to go on with the Super Goop one, the Glow Screen. I have the shade, whatever it is, the original shade. They have a tan one and then their original one that they came out with. I just have the original one, but the tan one would definitely be really good for my complexion right now. But I have this one, so I'm going to apply it just directly to my face a little bit, not too much. Okay, we're all set. I love the glow that this gives my face. The combination of those two products makes my skin look really, really healthy and dewy, and I love it. So definitely when it gets warmer, if I want something a little bit more tan, I will go with the darker one of the two of these, but this one works really well for me. The K-Skin one is also a similar shade to this one, maybe a little bit more on the champagne-y side than this one, and I love that one. I use it all the time. I mention all the time, so I figured I'd go with this one, which is also beautiful and really, it's great, an SPF of 40. What can't go wrong with it? Okay, so the next I always go brows before I do anything else. Even when I'm not wearing a foundation, it just makes me, I don't know what it is, like not having my brows done first always makes it harder for me to really envision where my makeup is going or feel like I'm put together. Anyone else weird like me? So we're going to do the Ami Collet Clear Brow Gel today, and I'm just going to put my brow hairs in place. Brow gel is on, letting it dry for a second. My brows have been, I really, really need to spend time. I usually do my own eyebrows. I haven't got my eyebrows done in years, but I've kind of been struggling with them a little bit just because I have some sparseness. It's all growing back in. I feel like my brows go through this every couple years. I always say this, but like every couple years, my brows go through like a couple of 6 months or so where they're completely like patchy and whatever. And I don't know if, maybe not a couple years, maybe like every 5 years, something like that. And I feel like it's really annoying. And right now I'm in that phase where everything's growing back. And I feel like I need to either spend time doing them myself and like really shaping them, or just going and getting them done and just having that be like a fresh brow and then go from there and just continue to do my brows after that. I don't know. I just feel like I'm always struggling. Okay, so the next we're going to go on to brow pencil. So when I'm doing a no foundation makeup look. I really want my brows to look really, really natural. So I use one of two kind of products, a brow pencil, or you can use a brow pen. This one from Undone Beauty is really good, and it took me a while to get used to using it, but now it's really, really simple. I have to have used the lightest hand, but also no pressure. Like I just kind of like no pressure at all. I'm gonna go with a brow pencil today because I don't want my brows to be too dark, and this brow pen that I have from Undone Beauty is a really, really dark, I think it's black brown is the shade, and dropping things left and right, and I don't want my brows to be that dark today, so I'm gonna go on with the Yami Collet brow pencil, and this is in the shade dark brown 1B, and we're just gonna fill in lightly. All right, happy with how my brows are looking. Now we're going to move on to the under eyes. So when I go for concealer under the eyes, when I'm doing a no makeup day, it has to be something that just blends seamlessly into the under eye and is dummy proof, because sometimes I have a heavy hand and I want it to be quick and easy peasy. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to overthink. So I have one or two concealers. I have the Say Beauty concealer, which I love. I've talked about this a ton on camera, and you know I love this, the Kulfi concealer. Just both blend like a dream. I'm going to go with the Say Beauty one today because I haven't used this one on camera as much. I have two shades, the shade 4 and the shade 3. And I think I'm going to do a touch of shade 4, but mostly shade 3, which is the lighter shade. But I'm going to do shade 4 here, and then a little bit of shade 3 at the front here and here. And this concealer definitely is best when blended with your fingers. Sometimes it just looks a little crazy when it's not blended with your fingers. So I like to take my finger and blend it out. And that is concealer on. I love that concealer. It just melts like a dream, especially when you use your finger. I find when I use a brush, it depends on how my under eyes are prepped or what eye cream I'm using, but I find when I use a brush sometimes, or even a sponge, it just doesn't melt into the skin and kind of can look more makeup-y, which doesn't really make sense because it's a really thin formula. But sometimes when products don't work for you, I really find that the warmth of your finger, or like body warmth in general, just warming it up and then applying it really can make the difference. So if you struggle, you're having a problem with certain products, try maybe blending with your finger, and that goes for like a lot of makeup products. Next, we're moving on to bronzer. So with bronzer, I like to go with a cream. I actually have two cream bronzers with me today. I have the LYS Beauty cream bronzer and the Rose Inc cream bronzer. I'm going to go Rose Inc because I have the LYS Beauty powder bronzer with me as well, and so that we're not just using one brand and we're kind of mixing it up. So I use the shade Seychelles in the Rose Inc cream bronzer, and I just dip in with a brush. You can also put it on the back of your hand and blend it out like that, whatever works for you. Now I always try to use, in general, clean brushes, so do that if you're dipping in, just so you're not, bacteria. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna blend it all out and get ourselves bronzed up. All right, super happy with how that's looking. Next, we're gonna move on to the nose. Now, I don't normally do a lot of bronzer or blush on my nose. I personally, on me, I feel like blush on my nose can look like I'm sick a lot of the time. And so I don't love to do that, but I don't like to take a bunch of bronzer and put it on my nose and just kind of put it through the middle or whatever. I like to do it a specific way, and I feel like this way is a lot of ways that people like to contour, but this is how I like to give my nose color without it being too intense. So I like to take it and take a brush like this. This is just a concealer brush, and I like to just take bronzer and pull it down my nose like this, and down my nose on this side too, and then do a little thing at the top here and a little bit here, and then I'll pull it up a little bit, not all the way up, because I don't want it to be too intense. This looks crazy. I know it looks crazy, but I swear it does a good job. And then I just pat it in. Love that. Love the bronze it gives my nose without it being too much. Sometimes bronze on nose can just be way too overwhelming, so when you do two like that and one across, on me, because I get bronze, really bronze right here where my nose kind of gets bigger. I don't know, like the this, then goes to this. I feel like right there I get really, really bronze. So I love the way that it looks because it looks very natural on me, but it doesn't like overly contour my nose or anything like that. Because you know what, nose contour, I don't know. Actually, contour in general is just so complicated, and people who do it really well, can you teach me? Because I don't know how to do it. Anyways, let's move on. So next we're going to move on to blush. Now, I love a cream blush, a liquid blush, especially on doing my makeup like this, because I'm not wearing any foundation or anything. I want everything to melt into the skin. So today we're going on with this blush here. I just reviewed this, and I think it's going up, this review is going up before or after this video, but I'm going to do the Cool Feet blush in the shade Sandalwood Swirls. I'm going to add a touch to the back of my hand, not a lot. And then I like to sheer it out on the back of my hand, so just kind of like this, dip in, and then apply to my cheeks. Now, don't be light-handed with this because she is pigmented, so, and depending on how much you have the back of your hand. And this is a really pretty, like, natural flush color for me. And then bring it slightly forward, but not too far forward. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Love how that looks. It's really, really natural looking. And if I get up close to like a really magnifying mirror, it doesn't look like there's any makeup on my face because it's a very, very thin product. And I love that. That is the vibe. Okay, so then next I'm going to go on to the eyes. So I'm going to go with a really, really simple eye look today and not get too crazy. I'm going to go on with the LYS Beauty Powder bronzer. I can also do a cream, but today I'm feeling like my lids are getting a little bit too oily, so I want to use a powder, and I'm using the LYS Beauty Powder Bronzer in the shade Harmony, and we're just going to put her in the crease. Okay, so that is on the lid. I put it actually all over the lid and in the crease, and then I'm going to take a little brush like this and pull that same shade onto my lower lash line to create a little bit of definition. Okay, so happy with how that's looking. I feel like it looks really nice. So then next I do want to go in with a little bit of highlighter on my cheekbones. Just a touch, nothing too crazy. I love this highlighter. This is from Minori, and I'm back on my Minori highlighter kick right now. This month I've been grabbing it nonstop, and I love. Do a little bit on my nose. And then we're going to do a touch in the corner of our eyes, just a little bit. Just a little bit. So then next, I'm going to go on with the Victoria Beckham eyeliner, and I'm going to do a little bit on my lash line, not a ton. And I'm going to blend just out with my finger to kind of create a little bit of smokiness. Okay, I'm happy with how that's looking. A little bit of dimension on the lash line without being crazy. So then next we're going to move on to lashes. I curl my lashes, not every day, but a lot of the time I like to curl my lashes, and I'm going to curl my lashes, look down into a mirror because that's my preference. And this is the Shiseido lash curler, and I'm going to curl them before doing anything else. Okay, so that is done. The next thing I want to do is I do want to actually set my face with a little bit of powder. I'm going to go on with this powder here from Westman Atelier. The review of this is coming. I've gotten a bunch of questions about it actually recently, so this is definitely coming. I just like to test, especially really expensive products and powders. I like to test them for a little bit longer than other products. Like I usually do like a month of testing or something like that depending on the product. But if it's really expensive, I really want to give it a little bit more time, just because this is like a $75 powder or something, so I want to make sure my review is really, really thorough. All right, looking good. So then next, a lot of the time will just leave my lashes without mascara, but just because we're here today, I'm going to do one coat of the Jones Road Beauty mascara, and I like to clean off the brush. Just because it's a newer tube. If it wasn't a new tube, I probably wouldn't like clean it off, because it's not like the wettest formula once it dries up a little bit, but we're going to just apply one very light coat. It's not going to be anything crazy. I like my makeup to look very, very much more like on the natural side, especially on a no foundation day. Okay, so happy with how that's looking. Before we move on, I'm going to do a little bit of setting spray. I normally would do setting spray before I do mascara, but I didn't think of that today, but that's fine because the Jones Road Beauty mascara isn't temperamental like that. But if I was wearing a mascara that I was worried about having a little bit of running, I would do this before I did my mascara, just to be like extra sure. I'm going to use this one. This is from Euphoria. I've been testing this out alongside, I feel like, 5 setting sprays. So I have a setting spray video coming, but I'm testing these out. And so I'm going to do a little bit of this. We're going to let that sit for a second, really just everything melt into the skin, and then we're going to move on to lips. All right, so we let that dry for a second. Then what I like to do is I like to take a beauty sponge and just go over around the face and make sure everything really this step specifically when you're using setting spray, I feel like a lot of the time people miss, but it really does make a big difference. All right, happy with how that's looking. Next, let's move on to lips. So in general, I will go for when it's a really like a no foundation makeup day, it's like a natural makeup look kind of day, I will go with something that's more of like a tinted lip balm or something that I can create into a stain. So whether it be a lip liner, a lipstick that I can just pat out, or a tinted lip balm, something like that. Sometimes I will go clear, but a lot of the time my lips can look pale if I'm like sick or I'm tired or whatever. So I like to have something that has a little bit of color, but looks natural, not anything that looks too crazy. So let's get into the products that I like to use. So one, the Victoria Beckham lip liner in the shade 04 specifically is just like such a good shade for me. And I always get compliments from my friends when I'm wearing this shades. Like, it's really good. So the next, I love this. This is my obsession. The Rowan liquid lip balms are so freaking good. And this is the shade Charlie. And this is my like grab. I have 2 of these. One is empty. This is my new one. And look, it's already like running low because I use it all the time. It is so freaking good, so hydrating. And my lips just look like, love it, like drink it up. The next I have this from Freck Beauty. This specific shade is really good for me. The Soft Blur lipstick in the shade, what is it, Main Character. I love this shade. It is so good. It is very much in the same vein as the Victoria Beckham Beauty lip liner in 04. It's just like the perfect pinky tone. And since my lips naturally are more of a pink color, I try to go with something that is a little bit less light pink, but still looks really natural on me, but still is like light, if that makes sense. Not like a bright pink or anything like that. Or I'll go with something that is just like a clear balm. Right now I've been loving the Fawn Beauty Recovery and Glow Lip Oil, and I just have like their, I think it's the original shade. They have a bunch of shades, but it's just this one, and it goes on clear, which is great. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of lip liner and a little bit of lip oil, just like a good combo. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I don't try to go crazy. I mean, it's just, look at that shade. It's just so good. It's just so good. And I like to blend out. So I don't just let it like sit on my lips. I do like to blend out product. And like go right on the lip line first, like that. And then kind of mush and blend. And then pat it into the lips. Really pack it on there. So that is kind of the lip shade that I like to go for. It is very much like still kind of natural for me and what my natural lip color is, but it isn't too pink, but it's not too simple. I don't know how to explain it. I really enjoy this. And then I like to go on with this on top. So let's do that. Or just a plain like lip balm, but these work well together. And I love this look. It just makes me feel really put together, but it doesn't feel like I'm wearing too much. Everything looks really natural. If I get up close to the mirror right now, even the lips, like everything looks very nice, plump, hydrated. Like it's not just like thrown on there with no purpose. Like it's all with a purpose, but it looks really beautiful once you put a little bit of setting spray on top and then you kind of pat it all in, then you're like good to go. It's the best. Sometimes even like depending, just like a plain lip balm, it really doesn't matter. Like whatever you like, any tinted product is always ideal. I have a tinted lip balm and kind of an updated, like I have so many lip balms right now that I'm currently testing out. Some are tinted, some are not. I have a video coming, so that is going to be like really talking about like products like this that just give me the perfect wash of color that I don't have to think about. and this is ideal. So yeah, that is it for my no foundation makeup routine. I would love to know what is kind of important to you in your no foundation makeup routine, whether it is to use something that it has a little bit of sheen in it, so like a sunscreen that has a little bit of shimmer to it, or if it's to, I don't know, make sure you're using a blush, or what is it? What do you prefer for your no foundation makeup routine that is like a non-negotiable? Let me know down below. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.